to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. It is a What Would Lou Do show day. And before I get to today's topic, I finally have my slate of experts all ready for Power Talk Friday Tour High Point Fall 2021. This will be the Vin Man, myself, Eileen Hahn, Desi Cresswell, and Rachel Moriarty. Fantastic lineup, wouldn't you agree, right? This year's event is sponsored by IDS, the Interior Design Society, Revelwoods, and My Doma Studio. So that means in addition to spending the entire day, which is from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., yes, it's a very, very long day, and it is on Friday, October 15th, okay? In addition to spending the day with me, my experts, your peers, you will have the opportunity to meet the outstanding people behind IDS, Revelwoods, and My Doma Studio at our celebration dinner. Now, I've said it before because it's 100% true. A Power Talk Friday event is a rare chance to have many business minds, each with different superpowers, have an up-close look at your business and help you either with the hard questions that you're handling right now, struggling with, or with setting and parameters on your business or defining some goals for the coming months and year. All different types of things, but all specific to what you need now. All right. And the reason that we are able to do this is because the space is limited to under 20 attendees. Okay. And in addition to being able to give you some one-on-one attention, this also means that it really doesn't matter if you are just starting out in business or you've been in business many, many years. It also doesn't matter if you're a interior designer, a window treatment professional, a graphic artist, an architect. It just doesn't matter. We've had photographers in the group. We've had all kinds of professions, all creatives, right? All people listening to the show. But I mean, I remember in July of 2018, we were in Las Vegas doing Power Talk Friday. One of the attendees was going to open her interior design firm that September. And another attendee had been in business about 20 years at that point, was doing $3 million a year, and not only came because she wanted to talk with us about some high-level things in her business, but she also signed up her junior designer because the combination of experts, she wanted her junior designer to take advantage of the day as well. So the thing is, it really is very individualized, all right? And it is an outstanding day, I have to say. If you are interested, go to powertalkfriday.com. All right, so today's What Would Lou Do? Here we go. Let me read the letter to you first. Dear LuAnn, in January of 2020, I was asked by a very, very good client to order her 7 motorized woven wood shades. She had her heart set on the fabric and a particular brand. I found a company, I opened an account, and I placed the order. Between March and October, the shades needed to be replaced 3 times because they were not made correctly. Ultimately, the sales rep issued me a refund and for me to return all of the shades so I could order from another company. And she says, I did not recover the installation costs. With the new company, the shades were reordered and installed in December of 2020. At first, everything looked good and the client was happy. However, at install, I noticed the same issue seemed to be happening as in the very first batch of shades, where the lining attached was droopy. It looked like there were swags hanging from behind the shades. Well, it didn't take long before my client was sending me pictures of how the shades looked from the outside of her house. I have to say, to me, they looked absolutely horrible. They looked like droopy bed sheets hanging in her $1 million home. I immediately have back and forth words with the sales rep, and he basically drops me and says to use another company, that they can't do anything to please me. Well, in order to keep my very, very, very good client happy, I tell her, because I am a drapery workroom, I will take down each shade one by one and fix the lining as soon as I can get her into my schedule. Well, now it is July of 2021, and I'm finally able to do this. Upon bringing these home and examining them, they are so terribly made that I'm going to have to order all new lining to make them correctly. This is going to cost me a lot of labor and supplies. I'm just so annoyed that the company I purchased from thinks that these are acceptable. How can they sell them like this? Does no one else think this is a problem? I would love to know what you would have done from the start and what you think I should be doing now. All right, so if you've listened to What Would Lou Do shows before, you know that I go back and I break out each area that I have an idea, an opinion, or some advice, point by point, right? So let's start at the beginning. Just recap here. January 2020, very, very good client, wants 7 motorized shades. The client determines the fabric and the brand. The designer has to open up a new account. She does it. She places the order. Between March and October, the shades were replaced 3 times because they were not made correctly. Ultimately, she gets a full refund. The sales rep issues her. You see, that's the thing to me. The sales rep issues her a refund and asks her to return all the shades and find another company, and she doesn't recover installation costs. Okay, so right here, okay, at the outset, I just want to say I would have been getting trip charges from the vendor to defray the multiple installation costs. So this is for every one of you out there. If you don't know about trip charges, pay attention. Most reputable window treatment vendors will issue trip charges when they have supplied a deficient product and it causes you to do an extra installation trip, okay? Now, to be clear, for some illogical reason, many companies, after the 3rd or 4th request for a trip charge on the same order, will start to say crap like, oh, our policy is only to pay 2 trip charges per order. To which I typically refer and reply by saying, oh, then I suggest you also have a policy of only making 2 mistakes per order. I mean, are you kidding me? That's okay. So you hear me. What I'm saying is, you might have to take matters up the chain beyond customer service after 2 mistakes on an order, but do it. However, up to 2 mistakes, most of the time, this is just a simple request to the customer service person at the time that you are doing the remake order, okay? So after placing the remake order, simply say, hey, put in a trip charge for me, and typically the trip charges are 50 to 75. If you ask them what it is and they say it's 50, say, I'm accustomed to getting 75. Just try it. Sometimes it works. Okay. And this is not always going to cover your install. And that's how come I usually will say it. I'll be like, great, but I don't have to go back if it wasn't for your mistake, and it's actually going to cost me $250. So you got to come with a little bit more dough than that. And we've pushed them as high as 75, sometimes a little higher. But my point is, you can get 50 and 75 just by saying, hey, I want it. That's the thing I want you to know. All right. It's not going to solve all of life's problems, but if you didn't know it, it's a lot of money over the course of the year. Okay. All right. Now, fall of 2020, the sales rep issues a refund to return all the shades and says to go use another company. All right. And I want to say here, interesting that you did this rather than continue to force them to do right by you. I have no problem with this actually on face value for these 2 reasons. You did get a full refund and you did find another company that you could order the same product from. However, there isn't always going to be another company. Like if you're using a proprietary product from any of the vendors out there that, let's not name names, but you know who I'm talking about, people who it's their product, you can't just go somewhere else, right? You have to stay there. So It's done. It's over. I'm just saying the next time, I would rather you push through. When you are being mistreated, when a company has not delivered a good product, you should push through, even if it's just practice, because it's going to take you 2, 3, 4 times doing this dance with a big company to the point where you get satisfaction easily and every time. Okay. So in this case, no harm, no foul, but strictly from a how to handle this perspective, when a product is not made properly, somebody doesn't just get to say, hey, after all this time, take your money back and go start all over again. Like, I just don't like that. Okay. Then going on, it says all the shades were reordered and installed in December of 2020. It says, at first all looked good. The client was happy. Listen to this now, right? Designer out there who wrote this. At install, I noticed the same issue happening as in the first batch of shades in which the lining attached was droopy. Okay. And you said, soon after that, I got the phone call. So right here, this is another part where I would have done something very different. I would have been the one to call it out to my client. After 1 year, okay, of going back and forth on this, I want her to know 100% that I am on her team, that we are in this together. It is us against the droopy, saggy, woven wood lining world, and she has me to defend her against the evil forces of crappy-looking shades and vendors who think it's okay to deliver inferior product, right? So how would I do this? All right, carefully, right? Okay, for sure. But 2 situations, right? First one is, first of all, you said that she was happy, you noticed it, and you obviously left because you got the phone call after the fact, right? So there's 2 things that I know could have been the situation here. Either it was dramatically wrong and bad again, and your client just didn't see it from the outside of the house, but you knew you had a problem, or it wasn't that bad, but you were just thinking, I'm not sure if this is gonna stay okay. These are looking like they're a little droopy, but maybe we're gonna be okay. And maybe it was that she called several weeks later, okay? So 2 very different situations. So let's take the situation 1 where the lining looks iffy, but we have to know that here's what I want us to get to know, all right? If this was the first delivery of the shades a year ago, and I'm looking at these current shades, I would ask myself, if these were the ones I delivered a year ago, would it have been okay to leave them up in this condition, right? For me, I can actually say, would Billy have left these here? Because Billy doesn't leave anything here anywhere. If he sees something, you don't have to wait. You don't have to point it out to him. He comes and finds you. Whether you're the designer that's ordered something from us, a retail consumer, he's like, hey, Houston, we have a problem, right? So but here's the thing. I know that when we are working with somebody and something has gone wrong over and over and over, now all of a sudden, the thing that we deliver the 90 millionth time has to be perfect, right? Like, it's just human nature. And I know there are times that the thing that we are delivering, in this case, the 4th time, and other times it's the 2nd, sometimes it's the 7th time, right? You just look at yourself and you say, man, if this is how it looked the first time, nobody would have thought twice about it. I know it. I've been there. It's happened with us, okay? So if that were the case, then I still wouldn't have left it. I still would have left it, but I wouldn't have left it up to her. What I would have done is I would have said, I want you to be the one to say it. So because the reason is we want to frame the conversation and we want to put the thoughts about these shades and the reality of this in the way we want it to really be. Okay. So what I'm saying is I would have said, hey, I'm looking at these and first I want to say, whoa, don't these look so much better, right? These look so much better than the last batch. Don't you agree? Okay. Because right then she liked them. We want her to agree. Okay. But then I would say, and I have to say, if this was the first time that we delivered them, I think I would be happy with them. And I think you would be too. But this isn't our first rodeo together. And you've been a very patient client of mine. And I want to share with you that I'm a little concerned. You see, look here. The lining isn't completely drooping like the others were, but I can see where it feels a little bit to me like it might. Do you see it right there? And then let her see it. And then she goes, oh, yeah. And you go, so, you know what? I don't love that. But here's what I'm going to suggest. If you agree with me that in this condition, right the way they are today, they look good. They look good, right? We just said it. We just said they look good. You didn't even notice I pointed it out to you, right? What I want to do is let's leave them here. But if, like last time, you notice any changes, I don't care if it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years from now, whatever it is, you call me and I will be back to take care of it, just like I've been here all along, taking care of this for you this last year. Okay? So let all of that sink in. All right? So first I'm saying, don't they look good? Then I'm saying, I'm not 100% sure they're amazing, but let's not lose our, marbles on it. And I'm saying 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, you can call me so I can take her off the ledge. And I'm reminding her that I've been there all year long with her. All right. Now, situation 2, if I'm looking at them and I already know they're no good, and maybe I saw it from the back of the shades and they're no good and she's going to see it eventually, then I'm not playing around here. I'm just looking at her and saying, you know what? These aren't acceptable. And I'm not leaving them up. I'm flat out saying, hey, Mrs. Customer, maybe these aren't as bad as the last ones, but there's no way they're right. I can't leave you with these. I'm going back to the fabricator again, and we have to get shades that are properly made. All right. Now, whether I actually take them down or not depends on her privacy needs versus the existing shades that are there that I'm replacing, and any version of the shades that were delivered over the last year. Because we've been in this situation where we've had 2 and 3 and 4 sets of shades over a year. This just happened to us. We resolved it in January of 2021, and it started in December of 2020. Okay, with woven Roman shades, by the way, same thing. Okay, different problem, same thing, same product. But the thing is, we sit there and Billy says, version 2 was the best of all of them. So he comes back to the showroom, he gets version 2 and puts them back up in the house while we fight with the fabricator. Okay. So, but the point is, we don't wait for somebody. When we know, like you said, they looked horrible. You knew it. So you need to be the one, right? Because what is our objective in this thing? When we are the ones to say, Houston, we have a problem, like I said, we get to frame the conversation and lead her to how we want to process this next interaction. Okay. So for starters, in situation 1 or 2, I've established that I have standards for quality that I deliver that are outside of her standards. I'm saying my reputation and the quality what we deliver is my call. And it matters to me. And if my standards are higher than hers, then that's the way it is. Okay. But that's the impression I'm giving. That's the truth of what I'm giving when I say to you, you don't have to tell me it's no good. I'm already telling you. Okay. And then what I want to say is also what the objectives that we're accomplishing here in framing this conversation. If this most recent install was in fact good and would have been good on day 1, but maybe not good on day 365, but you're a little nervous, maybe it'll droop, but right now it's actually good. In a non-confrontational way, I want to point out what is true, that we might tend to be hypercritical now when we wouldn't have been before. So in a subtle way, I'm laying the groundwork. There is no need to get crazy pants on me, lady. Let's keep our emotions and our expectations in check. So because she didn't do that in this case, you left, she was happy you left. But the thing is, I'm heading off. I don't know. I'm just telling you for next time. If you see it and they haven't seen it, but before you leave, what if they do see it? If they see it first and they have to be the first one to say it to you, now they can be that whole, it happened again. And how can I, this is ridiculous. And can't you ever get anything right? And what is with this company that you work with? And now what are we going to do? We're going to do it all over again. Because that's all what's going to happen. But you see, when she says it all, it's a confrontation. But when I say it, it's, you know what? I hate to disappoint you, but I don't like this. You know what? Now it's me and her on the same team. Okay. So you understand we're framing it. All right. And then the other thing is in this opportunity, I am getting her to give me a little. I'm getting her to say, yes, this is okay. And it's okay for today, right? So if it was that situation one, all right. And then again, in this scenario, I am getting the opportunity to remind her in the course of conversation that I have been there the whole year. So she's understandably going to be upset when I say to her, I don't think these shades are good again. But I'm heading her off at the path at being upset with me because I am as upset as she is. I am as appalled as she is, right? And I'm saying to her, I've been here with you this whole year. This is insanity, but I'm not leaving you alone. I'm not leaving them alone. I've got my knight in shining armor on. I'm going back. Okay? Because, you need to impress upon her that even though these companies have walked away from you, you haven't walked away from her. Okay? All right. Now, next section, it says, it didn't take long for the client to send me pictures and all the things like droopy bed sheets, right? So I'm just saying that's the value of the above approach. When she's sending you pictures, you're on the back foot in that phone call. And the sad part is you were thinking, I already knew that, right? But we want to be on the front foot. We want to be with the one with the leverage. We want to be the one in the driver's seat, okay? And that's how you do that. You take charge of it, okay? Then you said, I immediately have back and forth words with the sales rep, and he drops me and says to use another company that they can't do anything to please me. OMG with this right now. Okay, I am not upset with you, designer. I am livid with this company. Okay, now, for all the rest of you listening, I have to let you know that I saw the pictures of these shades because when this listener sent me the email, before I decided to do what would Lou do on this, I needed to know if the designer was crazy, right? Let's be serious. Maybe the whole thing looks perfect and they're all nuts, okay? But no. These are horrible. They are absolutely unacceptable. I can't believe any company actually delivered them once, not twice, 3 and 4 times, and is saying that there's nothing they can do to please her. I mean, it is beyond me. It is so beyond me that it reminds me of the show. Do you remember the show with Nathan Brookshire and Paul Davidge? They're the founders of Design Agency and Management. And do you remember how they described that as part of their service for clients, when their clients have tough clients or they have tough negotiations, that they actually step in and handle them. And I'm just saying to myself, knowing what these shades look like and how infuriated I am in this, I'm like feeling like I want to crack at this company just on principle. You know what I mean? In my free time, right? But all right, so seriously and constructively, you have to push this above the sales rep in this situation, right? You have to keep your cool. You have to be respectful and, talk in all the outside voice and none of the inside voice, okay? But you cannot accept when someone blatantly disrespects you like this, not without a fight anyway. Anybody that delivers a shade that looks like that and says the sentence, there's no way to please you, this is not even appropriate business conversation. That is completely condescending and patronizing. And that's why it has me so upset and practically wanting to take the conversation and have it for you. Okay? Right? I mean, and what you have to do is you have to get beyond the sales rep, because if the sales rep is going to say this kind of crazy pants stuff, then you have to ask for the workroom supervisor. All right? And I would have asked them to look at the pictures and then look at me with a straight face and tell me this is how their product is designed and intended to look. Right. Not a chance. Okay. And I will tell you, if that did not get me anywhere, I would ask if the company is owner operated, meaning is the owner on site, hands-on in the business? Because if that owner is, that's who I'm talking to. I am bypassing everybody. Now, some of the big brands out there, you can't do that. But I'm imagining that this is not a big brand that you worked with because you were able to get the same product at 2 different fabricators. So that means it's not a proprietary brand. And that means it's very likely that it's owner operated. And that's who I'm talking to. And I'm going to tell you what. If it is owner operated, I'm going from sales rep to owner. I'm not even following. I'm actually not even going to go through the workroom chain, because that kind of conversation that sales rep that's like I said, that's not even appropriate. That's not appropriate. It's just totally inappropriate. Okay. So, and if for some reason it's not owner operated, then I would ask for the operations manager for the entire plant, not workroom manager, absolute operations manager for the entire plant. The one who is in charge of the workroom manager, in charge of the office administrators and managers and all of the things. All right. And whoever I talk to, the very first person in this entire chain of command that I finally got to recognize how poorly the shades were made, I would insist that we agree on a plan to solve the problem. What is it? How is it going to work? What's the timeline? And then I would also let them know about the completely disrespectful comments of their sales rep, okay? And I have to say, by the time I've gotten to this level of Mach 10, like you've got to be kidding me situation, which by the way has happened a million times at WindowWorks, okay? I have insisted and gotten product made in 1 and 2 business days. No joke. 8 shades, 10 shades, motorized. Not, I've literally you clear your decks. You get this done. I'm out here a year. Stop with all of this. Okay. Whoa, this is a lot of inside voice, this episode. All right. Anyway. Now you said, in order to keep my very, very good client happy, I tell her that I will take down each shade one by one and fix the lining as soon as I can get her into my schedule. I got to say, big mistake here. I mean, Julia Roberts, huge mistake, okay? If you're going to be the hero, if you're finally going to take things into your own hands, you can't also be part of the problem. You have to be the angel singing from above solution. I know it's hard. I know that you've been busy. I know every single workroom has been slammed, but this needed to be a clear the decks thing. Get it done in days, not weeks, and definitely not months, okay? She's already waited over a year. Now we're 18 months into this. Okay. And I understand that it's hard and that, you've got other projects and stuff, but put yourself in her place. Like, what if the company said to you, okay, I finally acknowledge that everything that we've done is ridiculous and that you were right all along, and we'll fix them. We'll let you know when we have time in our schedule to do it. You'd be like, what? Okay. So that was a big mistake. I hate to say it. All right. Now, July of 2021, you're saying I'm finally able to do this. Upon bringing these home and examining them, they're so terribly made that I'm going to have to order new lining to make them correctly, and this is going to cost me a lot of labor and supplies. And I have to say, this is what you signed up for, okay? Business isn't always, like Judith Neary used to say to me, rainbows and unicorns, okay? And I would add here, I have to point out to you that you are lucky than most of us in this situation. I mean, I'm not a workroom. I don't have the ability, the luxury to say, forget the rest of you nincompoops out there. I'm going to make these right myself. You don't want me sewing a button, let alone a Roman shade, okay? And I think of the number of times that I would have much rather just been able to make things right in-house without having to convince some other non-customer service orientated company, some other I don't care about my reputation company to do the right thing. I have to say that would have been amazing. So you had an opportunity here, all right? And you needed to do it. You needed to do it. And I would say, this is business. Some you win, some you lose, okay? But whether you win or lose, keep in mind what your number one goal should be. Okay? Are you ready? What is your number one goal? Your number one goal, every single one of you, is your reputation. That's it. That's your number one goal. Number 2, your profit. Number 2, make money. Okay? Right? This is the thing. It is probably the simplest, hardest thing to learn and to do. Okay. And I know this because I see company after company after company placing priority of profit over the priority of reputation, just like the 2 companies that sent you packing, right? They're like, we are not making these anymore. It's costing us too much money. Oh, okay. Maybe because you don't know how to make shades. That's why. Not because of this designer out there. Okay. They don't care about the reputation. Are you ever going to order from them again? Are you going to talk good about them? You put their name in this letter. I didn't say it, but they deserve for me to say it. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. So number one goal is reputation. Number two goal is profit. Do the right thing first and always make money any and every time you can, as long as it doesn't conflict with your reputation. Because you never save money and you never make money in the end if you don't honor, protect, and service your reputation. Never. Okay? The sin here is, unfortunately, that you are going to spend the money and the time apparently in an effort to preserve your reputation because you don't want to leave her hanging, but because you did it at your convenience and not as a 5-alarm fire for her satisfaction and comfort, you're at risk of spending the money and time and having your reputation take a hit anyway, right? Now, I'll tell you in your case, because she's a very, very good client, which you said to me 2 times in your letter, you probably are going to salvage the situation. But if this was a first-time client, you probably wouldn't salvage the situation, okay, by having, her wait 3 or 4 months for you to make it right, okay? And I would just like to say is, as a little exercise for each of you, anytime you have a problem situation with a client, you need to ask certain questions of yourself. You need to say, how can I leave my client whole? Did I leave my client whole? Okay? Did I do the right thing by them? Did I behave honorably? Right? Like when I saw that the lining wasn't good, instead of leaving, did I call it out? Right? Did I leave no stone unturned to please them? Okay. When you can say yes to all of these, maybe the job will be a wash dollar wise. Maybe you'll go into your pocket for it. Been there, done that. You know what I call that? I've told you this before, marketing money. The job cost us money. We made everything right. We made the client happy. That's marketing money. Okay. All right. Because you know why it's marketing money? Because the icing on the cake, when you actually do go to the nth degree for a problem client like this or a problem project like this, you will almost always get a referral from this client, right? You will. It's crazy. You will, because they will tell everybody about it anyway. Who doesn't like to go out on dinner on Saturday night and tell their friends about their, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened with the shades now. Okay. But what you want is at the end for them to say, but I got to tell you, you know what? Sally Smith, man, she stood by me. She came back and forth. And when she didn't like it, she pointed it out to me and she went to bat for me like no other. It took a year, but you know what? She fought with me, with and for me all the way to the end. And we love it. And it's great. And now the person hearing it is going to say, wow, that's some kind of business person. Okay? Because a referral from this kind of story, this kind of client, is a referral that values your honesty, your service, values you as a business owner that they can trust. All right. And they don't look at you then as someone who's delivering a commodity. Okay. This is relationship and reputation building that pays you and your business dividends for years to come. Okay. Next part, I'm just so annoyed that the company I purchased from thinks these are acceptable. I am too. It's despicable. I swear to goodness, okay? And she says, has no one else experienced this situation with this company? I doubt it. But you know what? That and $5 will get you a latte, right? Is it necessary? Does it matter if this company has done this to anyone else to make it 100% wrong to do it to you? Nope. Nope. It does not. It was wrong, and I'm sorry that you accepted it. Okay? Now, you did say, what should I be doing now? All right? So you're doing what you're doing, but you do have to play cleanup and catch up. If you're still taking them down one by one and not really doing it on a, speed service pace, I would revise that plan, and I would take one down, bring it back to my shop, fix it the next day, put it up, take another one down. And I would do this in 7 days until it's done. All right. The other thing I would do is, because it's summer, I might say to them, are you guys going away? And, maybe they're going to go away for a long weekend. And you could say, maybe I can come in on Thursday, take them all down, have them back for you on Monday. Okay. And beyond this, there's not a lot you can do at this point, right? But you can be super supportive and understanding and genuine in every conversation and portray to her that none of this is her fault, because none of it is, right? Sometimes there are problems that go on for a year and it's because they're nuts, okay? And we are dealing with their insanity and their unreasonable expectations. But that's not the case here. So make sure she knows it. Make sure she really knows that you genuinely have her back in this, okay? And that you're happy to remake these shades because now personally they are going to be done right, okay? And unlike those other vendors, you care about her and you care about your reputation, okay? Now, I would say to you, when an opportune moment presents itself, you can't manufacture it because that's icky, right? But if it really can fit in, I would look for the place that I could say something to the effect of, I'm really so sorry for all the inconvenience this caused you. You and I have worked together many times before, and you know me, and you know I'm as upset as you are at how poorly managed both of those companies are. In fact, I have to say, the only good thing to come of this is since I never worked with them before, because, you told me the brand and the style you wanted, I actually learned I'll never work with them again. So even if by coincidence someone else were to ask me for the same style, I know I'm going to say no way. Let's all save ourselves a year of misery, and I'm not going to order them from them. And then laugh and kind of say, am I right? Right? Because what we're doing here again is just subtly reminding her of a few things. You didn't pick and recommend this shade. You didn't pick and recommend this company. You are as blindsided and as upset and as dumbfounded as she is at their quality and their business practices, that these are not your people. Okay. But you're commiserating with her on it, right? And you're just saying, it's me and you in this and blah, blah, blah. And man alive, so glad that's over, and I really appreciate your patience throughout the whole thing. I mean, there were a couple of times I thought I was going to lose my, head over this, but, you were so great, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, I hope this is helpful. Okay. And it reminds me also of one of my favorite lines, one of my favorite all-time lines in 5 years plus of the show, when Lee Cockrell, the executive vice president of Walt Disney, said on episode 222, when you only do the easy things, everything else gets harder. But when you do the hard things, everything else gets easier. It is so true in all areas: business, relationship, exercise, food, everything we do. Think about it. Just think about it. Literally. I take every single area of your life and think about, well, when I just do the easy things, doesn't everything else get harder, right? So know your goals. This is why it is important to establish your company mission and your company values, okay? Because if in case one of your company values is excellent customer service to a fault, you would not have let either company push you around, because you would have been thinking the whole time, no way, I can't accept this because I have to get this right for my client. And even if you, Mr. Company, don't care, I care. And if I can't get them to deliver, well, I have to get them to deliver. There's no other option for me. That's how I approach these things. You don't get to say no. You don't get to say no. You have a business, you have a product, you have a service, you have to deliver it. I ordered it for you. I paid you for it, right? But there's no going back for me. I'm never going to look at one of our customers and say, nah, not good enough. Yeah, stop, right? Okay. And if this is also one of your values, when it was your turn to step up and do the remake shades yourself, you would have looked at your existing workload. And even if you had to say to some clients, I must beg your understanding. I have a client who has been let down and delayed for over a year because of the inefficiencies and the deficiencies of a particular company. And I need to delay the delivery of your window treatments by a week or 10 days. I hope that you know that if this was avoidable, I would not be coming to you and asking you this. I also hope that you can see that when I deliver something, if it isn't right, I will move heaven and earth to make it right. Now, I can tell you this. Some people are going to be okay and some people are going to scream. Believe me, I know it. Okay. I've been the CCO for the last year and a half at WindowWorks, the Chief Complaint Officer. Okay. But you have your original commitment to keep, okay? And the point is, when you've decided on your core values, when you're not standing in a pot of boiling water, it makes it easier to make a decision about your next move without second guessing yourself, all right? Being prepared is one of the best gifts you can give yourself as a business person, whether it's being prepared for a presentation to a client, being prepared to pay your taxes by saving the money all the way throughout the year, being prepared to weather business problems like this, okay? Or being prepared to stand by your values and to stand by your word, all right? Thinking things through ahead of time on what you'll say, what you'll do, what matters to you, makes it easier in the chaos of the moment to just like let all the noise go away and say, what is it that I have to do right now? Okay? All right. So I hope that was helpful. I really do. And if you like the show, basically the live version of the show takes place the first Thursday of every month, right? We do inside voice, outside voice. I had a lot of inside voice in this show. Okay? We meet live via Zoom for 1.5 hours, and you can ask me any question you want. How to handle something with one of your clients, a vendor. If you're not sure what kind of consultant to hire, what you should be doing next in your business, right? And even if you don't have a question, just like this, hearing someone else's question will often give you an insight to something you're going through or trigger a question for you as well. It is only $36 to attend Inside Voice, Outside Voice, and I give half of all the monies that we collect to a charity. So this month's charity is the Valerie Fund. If you haven't heard of it, the Valerie Fund supports comprehensive health care, services for children with cancer and blood disorders. They focus on the psychosocial programs and medical care close to home, right? So they want to help the families and the children have access to the best care close to home instead of having to get on planes, trains, and automobiles for the best care. And this is their mission, okay? My own niece went through the Valerie Fund when she was diagnosed at 5 years old with a blood disorder, and she's in remission, and she's amazing now at 9 years old. And so the Valerie Fund is very close to my heart. Plus, they are, a lot of designers here. We had the Valerie Fund Show House 2 years ago, and many of the local New York and New Jersey designers participated. So I hope that you will come, because I would love to see you and hang out with you. If you're interested, go to InsideVoiceOutsideVoice.com to learn more and sign up. All right. It's this Thursday, 2 days from now, if you're listening in real time on the day this show drops. Okay. August 5th, 2021. All righty. Thank you for joining me today. I have a lot of fun on the What Would Lou Do shows. I love to pick apart things like this. I love to see all the angles and see where our leverage is as business owners, and then also see when we need to look in the mirror and say, we need to take a step back. I'm with you in it. Okay, I'm with you in it. Often have to go through these same things myself in my own businesses, and have to have these conversations myself, saying, "Hey, sweetie, you need to rethink this." So I get it. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. We're all a work in progress. All right, thank you for joining me. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnn Nigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.